Games Rap. This is my new video about Warframe. In this video I'm gonna talk about Frost. In this case is Frost Prime, but it's the same as Frost. Since I already made a video with a full strength build of Frost, I'm gonna talk about a different build. In my excavation video I did this build. It is a full strength build. I usually use a full strength build when I'm going against Corpus or against Grenier or Void Corrupted, because, well, since the globe changed to, instead of duration, it is based on strength. As much strength as you have, more gunfire your globe is able to sustain. But since now I'm going to play the Lyric, I have a different build. And one thing that I find, well, a little strange, I've been playing Trenton in these few days. I am always trying to farm cores, and I see some people use overextended in a Frost build. Overextended give a minus in strength, so even that you have blind rage here and transcendent fortitude, a minus strength against Corpus, that is a faction that fire that use weapons, you are losing, for a bit of range you are losing half of your strength, which I think doesn't worth it. But I only use overextended when I'm going against infested, because infested are mainly a melee faction, so have a full strength build doesn't really worth it, because, well, for instance, if I go with this build, I use my globe. Practically I only use the globe again 10 waves after, because the infested rarely does damage to the globe, unless the last ones, the DA implemented, they are the only ones that fire and do damage to the globe. So since I'm going against infested in this build, yes, I still use transcendent fortitude and intensify, but I use overextended for range and chilling globe to froze enemies that enter in the globe. My primary weapon, I chose the Khom, because, well, it is a slash orientated weapon, and since I'm going against infested, it's a good choice. I'm using viral as damage. This is this Khom have a 5 form build, since I'm using primate point blank. Now my secondary weapon will be the Pyrana, also a slash orientated weapon. In this one I'm also using viral, but as elemental cards I'm only using pathogen rounds, frostbite and pistol pestilence. I'm using maim to boost the slash damage. This is also a 5 form build. All mods are maxed. My melee will be the Dakra Prime, also a slash orientated weapon with also viral as a damage, and using Buzzkill and Jagged Edge in conjunction because, well, it boosts a lot the slash. My Sentinel this time is the Carrier Prime. It have a two-form build. I'm not using steel fiber, for instance. In Carrier Prime I don't use steel fiber. I use Vitality, Redirection, Animal Instinct. I always try to use Animal Instinct because of the loot and a few range of enemies. Still got 1 point to max Sanctuary, Fast Deflection, and I usually change between Fire Up and Self-Destruct. This time I'm going with Fired Up, but I mainly use Self-Destruct. And in abilities use the Striker, Vacuum, Guardian and Cool and Leak. My Sentinel weapon will be the Burst Laser, since I still didn't form the Prisma Burst Laser, so I'm going with the Burst Laser. But I'm not going to change the damage. I will leave the corrosive damage, and the only mod that isn't maxed is Magnum Force. I'm still maxing it for the Sentinel. Well, I'm in no worry because it will, the difference it make it's very little. So but I have enough points to max Magnum Force and still keep 2 points, because this is a 5-form build. Mostly the Sentinel weapons are all 5-form builds. I think the only exception is the Death Machine Rifle that have a 6 formers. I'm not sure, but I'm going to check it out. Yes, it is a 6-form build. It don't have mods right now, but it is a 6-form build. But it was because I used it here. This Sentinel was formed when the previous damage was in place in Warframe, so I had 4 Elementar cards here. That's why these two polarized slots are the same. Okay, I'm going to change to the burst. Okay, it's all. I'm going to play the Lyric Defense. Well, I chose the Lyric Defense because I was having a debate with a few friends, and there was a friend of mine that was insisting that Frost sucks against Infested. And I was trying to say to him that, well, the problem sometimes is that we build a frame in one way and rarely change the build to play against other enemies, and the problem most of the time is the lack of testing and experience, and people create an opinion about something that most of the time isn't true. That's why I'm using, in this build, I'm using the overextended. Why? Because it gives me a wide open range of globe, and I can move here freely. I have more space to deal with Infested, and they are inside of my globe. They slow down. So it may be debatable if Frost if Vauban is better than Frost against infested, sure, that that is a possibility, and I'm not saying that it isn't, but limit Frost to defense missions against Grenier or Corpus isn't the right thing to do, because he still does pretty well against infested. You just have to change your build a little bit, and believe me, you will not have problems against infested, even that they are a melee oriented faction. And here the minus in strength from overextended, I practically won't notice. If you want, you can use a maxed overextended, although I think a 10 point overextended is enough, or a 9 point overextended is enough, but because I sold the 9 points overextended that I had, I'm using the 10 points. So, but the 9 points overextended is enough. It gives you a bubble this until this circle, which give you lots of space to move around here. Ah, syndicate guys.
We Pyrana always collect our debts.
Well, today it has been in practically all the missions. The shielding globe here helps a lot. That's why I'm using it, because it helps. It doesn't froze the enemies for much time, but it is enough to be helpful. So one of the things that I love in Warframe is the ability that we have to try new things, and I think some people face a few problems because, well, maybe they have a little lack of imagination, and I sometimes like now I'm recording a video, but I could be playing around and trying new things, and believe me, sometimes looking around you find things very useful that you can use in your gameplay. And most of the things that, I don't know if it's because I like to play with all frames, I think the only one, and maybe that is the only frame that I'm keeping for last, it is Chroma, because, well, I still didn't get Chroma, how to use it
Unless you can handle more of the enemy.
in the missions I like to do. When it's mobile defense, I love to play mobile defense and defense alone. But Chrome, I still didn't get it how I can use it effectively, and I still have to play with him a little more. But well, like I said in other video, I'm a bit disappointed with Chrome. I was expecting a little more from him, but well, since I didn't play much with him, I can't have a fair opinion about it. So I think it's the only frame right now that I have difficulties playing specific missions. I still didn't try to play a mobile defense with him, but I'll bet I will have a few issues because I'm still a bit lost playing with him. But for instance, Equinox is a frame that you can easily see where you can use her effectively. Well, Chrome, I think it's different. Maybe you have to dedicate a little more time to him to understand the better use of his abilities. But well, when I have something concrete, I will make also a video. But at this point, I think I'm the one who needs help. So it isn't logical trying to help others when I myself need help. But I like to play with all the frames, almost all, and that is a good thing because you can play the same mission in different ways. Not all play the same way, and that's why I say that mooking around you can sometimes find very useful stuff. This shotgun is a good shotgun. I don't use it. I don't use much the high rate of fire of the weapon have. Since I'm using a good build, because well, it have all mods maxed. But if I want, I press the trigger and this fires very quickly. But I like to fire like a normal shotgun, one shot each time. I prefer, unless of course I'm overrun by enemies and I press the trigger and let the weapon empty the magazine. Okay, now I'm going to change to the Pyrana. Pyrana is also other good weapon against infested. This weapon was used a lot when it was released. Right now I don't see anyone playing with the weapon, and believe me, this weapon, if you even without the former, even without putting all the forms, you can have very good results without all these forms. I formed my weapons a lot because it's my tank. I have lots of forms and it's my hobby in Warframe. I like to form weapons, make my builds. They are practically the same. I only change damage. In some weapons I use 1 damage, in other weapons I use another damage. In some I use a boost the physical damage, in others I boost the ammo, and others well, it depends. Sometimes even the reload or the magazine. I like to mess around with builds, but with the damage cards is all I use all the same. I think only the despair, kunai, the new weapon that it was released today, the Iku, I think are the only weapons that I don't use the Magnum Force. It's mostly because of the accuracy. Exactly like the primary weapon, I don't use heavy caliber in a few weapons. In the secondaries I do exactly the same thing. I don't use Magnum Force in Despair, because it ruins the accuracy of the weapon, and I don't like to play with Magnum Force. But it's more bearable to play with Magnum Force in the secondaries than play with heavy caliber in the primaries, because well, the Magnum Force only boosts 66% of damage and have a minus of 27 accuracy. Heavy caliber have half minus accuracy. It's a lot.
Reinforcements available. Do you choose to leave now? Or
I'm going to do rotation C.
Keep fighting. Another opportunity
Only
to extract
I'm
will
not
appear
going
soon.
further because well it's not worth it, and it was too much time. But you can go a bit further, even alone. That's why I said that overextended helps a lot, because it gives you a wide open area around the pod where everything moves in slow motion, and for a player playing solo it's very helpful, believe me. It's mostly because of these guys. These are the only ones that fire, is this enemy, and as you can see we are at 12 and I still only dropped 1 globe, so it's Strength isn't really needed against infested. I could also remove another Strength card, the Intensify, if I wanted, and only leave the Transcendent Fortitude, but since I didn't want to use the other Syndicate mod for the ability, this one, the Wise, I left Intensify in the build, but you can use other cards and leave only one Strength card that against infested. It's more than enough, and you don't need to spam your globe because they almost don't do damage to the globe. But if you go against Corpus or Grenier, I advise you do not use overextended because you lose a lot of strength in your globe, and most of the time you are dropping globe after globe because the globe can't sustain damage. I didn't saw the guy. I lost my energy. Well, now I made a mistake because after the point they start spawn, I was running in circles and didn't saw the disruptor, and he took away my energy, but well, it's easy to refill, and you don't risk to lose the pod. But I usually move because, well, it's my tank. I like to be moving around, but moving this way it's very easy for them to come behind you and suck up your energy, like it happened to me right now. But it's not an issue. You stop, refill, and you will not have problems. Here with Frost, problems only start after wave 30. It's when you need to start to be very quick to take out the enemies, because if you don't kill them quickly, at some point you have so many enemies inside your globe that you you stay completely lost here. But until there, it's very bearable. You don't need much to do this. It's not like many players say, it doesn't require skill, only that people be clever the way they play. If you are in a tough situation and you need something, Avalanche is your friend. That's why I still wanted to keep Intensify, mostly because I still have a few Strength, and Avalanche or even Ice is useful. So that's why I didn't use the other ability, Syndicate mod, to keep Intensify and Transcendent Fortitude, because Avalanche in tough situations it's a good panic button. Well, after wave 20 it doesn't kill the toughers, but at least it staggers them, so it helps. But these the chargers and the leapers, they are insta-giving, so, and if you leave only Transcendent Fortitude isn't enough. You start to lose damage after 15 waves, something like that. It's a bit different.
Reinforcements available. Do you
Okay,
choose to
last
leave
5
now
waves.
or continue fighting?
Okay, I'm going to deploy a globe
Another
because
opportunity to extract will appear soon.
I'm going to refill energy. The only thing that, the only situation in that Frost beat Vauban in this mission is, well, I don't like to say beat because I don't do this kind of comparison between frames, but the only thing where Vauban can have a hard time is because Vauban can be grappled. Even using the Basti can be grappled, and Frost can only be grappled if the disruptor or the healer is inside the globe. If he's outside the globe, he cannot grapple. So it's the only big advantage that Frost have against Vauban in here is against the healers or the disruptors, because when they reach here, mostly the first thing they do is trying to grapple you. But because the globe is here, they cannot grapple you because you are inside the globe. And in Vauban, even if that you drop your Basti, if the disruptor isn't affected by the Basti, he will grab you and push you here. I remember the other video I did with Vauban, that happened a lot of times because, well, the first enemies were suspended in the Basti. I wasn't seeing the disruptor, and he grappled me, and I was grappled from one side to the other. Is the only thing that Frost give you a much more easy time than Vauban in here. But it's different. I don't like to make this kind of comparison because they play different ways. Vauban is still one of my favorite frames, and it's hilarious to play with him. If you want, you can go melee here. That's why I choose to use a buzzkill and jagged edge, because of the weapon have more slash, and against infested it's very useful. this weapon. I love to play with this Dakra Prime. It's a blast. Not only against infested, but the only shame to me right now is that I can't use this build against Grenadier because, well, the globe, like I said, with the overextended, almost can't sustain damage, and even that I used the globe and wanted to play around inside the globe, I had to be dropping the globe all the time because, well, the grenades that stayed outside firing against the globe will destroy the globe very easily. So it's a shame that it only works with infested, unless of course you go to low level Grenier, but that it's it's not very fun. Okay, I'm going to the last wave and only use the 2 globes. I'm going to use because, well, it's 6 to go down, so I'm going to use. And okay, it's the last wave. Okay, it's done. You could continue here and until 30, 40. It's not. You can keep things very controlled inside the globe, and as you can see, sometimes people like to attribute a specific frame to specific missions, and well, I also was a Frost player. Well, not so much like Vauban, but Vauban is still my preferred Warframe, at par with Loki, of course. But I start to play with Frost very early, so and he still didn't had suffered the last changes. So it is easily it's more easy to understand what we can do with him. And when he suffered the change, especially in his globe, one of the first things that I tried to do was in what situations I can use frost. And now frost is very versatile frame because you can use it in defense, you can use it in extermination, you can use it in any situation because he have defensive and offensive abilities, and that makes all the difference. Because I remember frost as a boring frame, and when I say boring, I what I'm trying to say is it was a frame that it was very good to defend, but it sucked to offense. So now it's very balanced, and with a few tweaks you can have very fun moments. Okay, it's all for this video. Thanks for watching. Until the next video, see you around.